Hello, I'm Susan Reisert. I'm pastor at Old South Church in Hollowell, Maine, and I'm on deck for providing Psalms in the Woods today. I'm standing in my kids' old treehouse on the edge of our property near our woods in Belgrade. Today is Wednesday, December 23rd. For those of you who were, or perhaps are, fans of the show Seinfeld, you probably know that today is Festivus, a made-up holiday created by George Costanza's father in response to his dislike of the other holidays of the season. Festivus, or Festivus for the rest of us, involved an aluminum pole, feats of strength, and the airing of grievances. If there's a year that really deserves an airing of grievances, it's this year, certainly. It's been a hard year in so many different ways. One of the daily lectionary passages for yesterday really struck me in a meaningful way, particularly for this year of so much difficulty and challenge for the prospect of a Christmas that will be dramatically different than what most of us are used to. The passage is not a psalm. The passage is from Hebrews chapter 8. I'll be reading the translation provided by The Message. Does a great job with this passage. In essence, we have just such a high priest, authoritative right alongside God, conducting worship in the one true sanctuary built by God. But Jesus' priestly work far surpasses what other priests do, since he's working from a far better plan. If the first plan, the Old Covenant, had worked out, a second wouldn't have been needed. But we know the first was found wanting because God said, "Heads up, the days are surely coming when I'll set up a new plan for dealing with Israel and Judah. I'll throw out the old plan I set up with their ancestors when I led them by the hand out of Egypt. They didn't keep their part of the bargain, so I looked away and let it go. This new plan I'm making with Israel isn't going to be written on paper, isn't going to be chiseled in stone. This time, I'm writing out the plan in them, carving it out on the lining of their hearts. I'll be their God, they'll be my people. They won't go to school to learn about me or buy a book called God in 5 Easy Lessons. They'll all get to know me firsthand, the little and the big, the small and the great. They'll get to know me by being kindly forgiven, with the slate of their sins forever wiped clean. By coming up with a new plan, a new covenant between God and his people, God put the old plan on the shelf, and there it stays, gathering dust. Amen. What new thing is God up to in these days? Can we put aside our grief, our anger, our grievances, to open ourselves to God's presence in our midst now, in this year of disruption? God's plan is in us and among us. God isn't waiting for the vaccine or for the pandemic to be over. God is at work now and has been. In our yearning for going back to normal, are we maybe missing something? It's worth a thought to hold in our head and in our heart as we approach the familiar story of Christmas this year. What new awareness awaits if only we open ourselves to perceive it? A very happy and meaningful Christmas to all of you. Blessings of hope, peace, joy, and love be with you today and in the days ahead.